In a nation where sectarian tensions were hardly resolved, the recent tit-for-tat attacks targeting both the Sunni and Shia population don't come as a surprise. Iraq has been through this before. In fact, it never really ended. Iraq's Sunni population, alienated by Baghdad and outraged over the treatment of Sunnis, has been demonstrating against the Shia-led government for months. Further incensed following a raid on Sunni protesters, which led to clashes in the northern town of Hawija last week, leaving more than 50 people dead. 2 Sunni ministers resigned. 5 Iraqi security forces were brutally executed in Al Anbar province, Iraq's Sunni heartland. And violence across the country left innocent civilians once again the victims of brutal attacks, as tensions escalated to their highest point in the last few years. Iraq's prime minister blamed the sectarian strife on another place in the region and warned of the country returning to yet another sectarian civil war. And while, yes, Syria most certainly does impact its volatile neighbor, what we're seeing in Iraq today is a direct product of the Iraqi government's own failings and the sectarian nature that continues to define it.
These protests in Iraq are organized and driven by specific Sunni organizations. They have specific grievances, they have specific agendas. Some have an agenda based on achieving political demands within the process. Others, from the very beginning, were simply trying to restart another civil war. So Syria has an impact, but it's not the fundamental driver.
Not a fundamental driver, perhaps, but it stokes an already raging fire. In a recent report, the International Crisis Group warned, the emergence of an arc of instability and conflict linking Lebanon, Syria, and Iraq, fueled by sectarianism and involving porous borders as well as cross-border alliances, represents a huge risk.
When I was last here in March, a lot of the conversations that I was having with the Iraqis were about their fears that the country was slipping back towards those dark years when violence was at its worst. And now it seems that unless the Iraqi government really begins looking at reforming itself, those fears may very well soon become a reality. Arwa Damon, CNN, Baghdad.